Alright, so today we're trying out some new equipment. We're testing out our mic. As I'm sure you guys have you guys haven't noticed. No one's seen these videos, yay! But, I mean, I definitely noticed that the audio is a little weird sometimes.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a humming to it.
Yeah. So hopefully this mic, I know we tried it out a little bit and it's a little quiet. So I'm really hoping I'm talking loud enough to be picked up. So today, onto our actual episode.
Welcome to the good, the bad, and the geeky.
Yes.
This is Daniel. I'm Shelby Lynn. Now.
Yeah, so now we move on to our actual video. This is our Endgame, Road to Endgame miniseries that we're kicking our channel off with.
We have gotten behind again, so you'll be seeing several videos from us. Daniel is officially working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So that plays a big part of it. But you'll be seeing a little bit more of us this coming week, hopefully. We're hoping to knock out 2 or 3 videos tonight. That way we can have them backlogged a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is the Ironman 2 video.
Yes. So on our Road to Endgame, we are reviewing all of the MCU films up until Endgame. So
And we will probably do a little blurb coming up sometime soon about the trailers that we have had so far for Endgame.
You had to bring that up. You just had to bring that up. Anyways.
Probably. We'll see.
Today we're talking about Ironman 2 that was released in 2010, directed by Jon Favreau, the same director from the first Iron Man. Directed by Jon Favreau, starring Robert Downey Jr., Mickey Rourke, I don't know how to pronounce his name, I'm terrible with names, and Gwyneth Paltrow.
So, first off, full disclosure, we both fell asleep towards the end of this movie.
Yeah.
We have both been very tired, which is why you haven't seen a new video from us, but, I mean, it wasn't a monumentally groundbreaking different movie that was able to keep us awake. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about this movie. And our review of it.
Yeah, so really quick, I've seen this movie before, she has not. I've seen this movie only once before when it was in theaters, and I did not like it. I hated this movie. Seeing it this time around, I just found it boring. Like, we fell asleep during the climax of the film. You know, it's what the past 2 hours have been building up towards, and everything's supposed to be resolved, and it's all this action, and we both fell asleep.
Yeah. That being said, he kind of found it boring. I kind of felt like it was just watching like a day in the life of Tony Stark. Woo! Okay, let's move on. We didn't really need that. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think there was any big game changers in this movie down the road, were there?
Well, a big complaint that this film has is how it doesn't progress the story of Iron Man, but how it's just a bunch of setup for the Avengers, which I don't really agree with. Unless it all happened after the climax. Because once we woke up, we turned the movie off. It was like, okay, we obviously don't really care for this movie, let's just turn it off.
Well, there was also, like, just credits left, so...
But, yeah, so unless it all happened after the credits, and if that's the case, then, I'm sorry, not after the credits, after the climax. If that is the case, then I definitely feel like that's not something people should be so upset about, and be the main complaint about it.
Like I said, I kind of just felt like it was really and truly a day in the life of Tony Stark and Iron Man, and that's really all we were watching there.
So you didn't feel like it was just a bunch of setup for Avengers then?
Not at all.
Okay, that's good. At least we're on the same page about that. So, let's go on to talk about the actual movie itself.
So, my opening comment that I have written down was that I had no idea who the hell those guys were. Why was he trying to build a reactor? Who's that old guy there?
Yeah, the Russians.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good way to raise tension and boost interest, but they quickly lost that tension and that interest, so it's just kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah, so the opening shot is the press conference from the end of the first Iron Man film, and then it's revealed that there's some Russians who are watching it who are talking crap about Tony Stark, and they start building an arc reactor. The only thing I really found interesting about that is that once it shows that he's completed the arc reactor, it cuts to the title card of Iron Man 2, which I actually think is pretty interesting, because what made Tony Stark so special in the first Iron Man film was the fact that he was the only person around to be able to build an arc reactor.
Mm.
So I actually really enjoyed that. How about yourself?
I didn't really pick up on that when we were watching it, so I didn't really have any thoughts about it until he brought it up just now. My first big thing was that I absolutely love the opening credits music for this movie, and if you go back and look at it, I actually said that about the first Iron Man as well. I kind of just feel like the music in Iron Man as a whole is really awesome.
Yeah, I think it was Thrill to Kill or Shoot to Thrill, something like that.
I don't remember, but it was a good one.
It was another AC/DC song, just like the first one. It was Back in Black. Speaking of the first sequence with Iron Man, I actually felt like it was really well shot. Especially considering that it's all CGI, the way that they were able to move the camera around and stuff. I found that to be really, really pleasant to look at.
But that being said, with it being CGI, I kind of feel like it went downhill from there in regards to the CGI. Especially in like the fight scenes, there were a lot of just really weird CGI mess ups. Legs that definitely shouldn't been that way, and arms that really shouldn't been that way. And you kind of forgot to maneuver that body properly there. I mean, it was just little things like that, but when there's a whole bunch of little things like that, it kind of makes a difference.
Yeah, especially considering that the first Iron Man film holds up so
butt.
well. Yeah,
Kicked butt, yeah.
I mean, there was a few seconds of like wonky CGI throughout the entire film, but that's a film that came out close to over 10 years ago now. And this one came out a little less. It came out about two years after that, so it's a little. What's the right word? It's definitely weird to see that the first Iron Man's CGI is so good and it holds up so well, especially in comparison to the second Iron Man film.
Yeah. Moving forward from there, I have a lot of comments about how Tony Stark is full of himself and how, I mean, he literally has dancers that are in a skimpy version of an Iron Man outfit.
They're basically what Iron Man costumes would. It's basically what female Iron Man costumes for Halloween would look like.
Yeah, it basically just had the Iron Man thing here and a pair of booty shorts. So, I mean,
it was a skirt in all fairness.
But I mean, my comment was actually that he has strippers that look like him, and it's like, a little full of yourself there, aren't you? I mean, let's be honest. In the past movies, his dancers have gotten naked. So.
And in all fairness, this is not the Tony Stark we know in the current MCU. I wouldn't say the current MCU Tony Stark is humble, but he's definitely not. Yeah, he's definitely not that egotistic, and I feel like that's a really, it shows his character arc throughout the entire franchise.
As always, Tony Stark does have some really good lines in there, as does his friend.
Rhodey?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they actually recast Rhodey in this film. It was Terrence Howard, and then they changed the actor to Don Cheadle. There was salary disputes between the company and Terrence Howard, so they went ahead and replaced him. And it's so funny because Don Cheadle's first words in the film are, "It's me, I'm here, let's move on." And of course, in context, it makes sense because he's testifying against Tony Stark.
And Stark seems shocked to see him.
Right, but I also feel like it's a little nod, wink, wink towards the audience itself. Like, hey, yeah, I'm Rhodey now. Get over it. Let's move on.
Yeah. And then the line that I really loved that happened was actually from Tony Stark. He said, it's about what we choose to leave behind for a future generation. It's not about us. And I feel like that's really empowering and a really big thing that the society as a whole right now is kind of dealing with. I mean, global warming and pollution and all that jazz.
It's not called global warming, baby. It's climate change.
Depends on who you ask. My geography teacher, who talks for an hour and a half about glaciers, says it's global warming. Anyway.
Yeah. After that, I just, like I said in the beginning, I don't dislike this movie as much as I did originally. I just thought it was really boring.
Now, the one thing that kind of really gave this movie its big punches to me, in my opinion, was Black Widow. This is, of course, the first time that we see Black Widow in a Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. And 90% of the time she was on screen, not gonna lie, you could see her bra. And Scarlett Johansson is gorgeous.
She definitely is.
Seeing her bra... You made the movie better. What can I say?
I'm a guy, and to me, what made the movie better was Sam Rockwell. Like, he's just awesome. He was awesome as Justin Hammer. Oh, really quick
side note. I'm sorry, I'm not straight.
Am I gonna need to find a way to edit this out? I'm terrible at editing.
No, it's okay. I apologize for our crazy laughter.
This is gonna be a really terrible video.
I mean, it wasn't a great movie, so...
Hey, I hope you get more entertainment from this video than I did from this movie, because, like I said, to me, the only good thing about the film was Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer. And small little side note, do you remember that reporter that he talks to in the at the Fortune 500 diner, mm-hmm. cafe, whatever? Well, it's also the same reporter that Tony Stark sleeps with in the first Iron Man film. That's his wife.
Really?
Yeah, that is Sam Rockwell's wife.
Oh, I thought you meant it was Robert Downey Jr.'s wife. I got real excited for a second
No, it's Sam Rockwell's wife. Which
oh.
I thought was funny.
So we actually had a conversation about Sam Rockwell this week and how he seems to mainly play bad guys.
Assholes.
He's great at it.
Yeah,
Sam Rockwell is fantastic.
I mean, he got his Academy Award for playing a racist drunk cop in 3 Billboards, which, hey, he did sells it. You believe him as a racist drunk cop.
And in Vice, that just recently came out, he was fantastic in there as well.
George Bush Jr.
He was fantastic in there as well, and honestly, I was very impressed. I have been impressed with him in everything I've seen him in. Yeah.
So as far as our notes go, that's all I have. So
I have a bit more notes than he did, but most of them are, like I said, about Stark being egotistical and full of shit and having more power than he should. And the one other thing that I did want to mention, did Scarlett Johansson do her own stunts when she knocked out Happy?
No, she does have a stunt double who looks a lot like her. Apparently, I've read a bunch of things online that Chris Evans would try to talk to Scarlett Johansson, but he would end up talking to the stunt double and not realizing it.
I guess he's not good with faces.
Well, I mean, you do see the stunt double does have a cameo in
mm-hmm.
Civil War. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, so for a very brief, quick second, you'll see her. She plays one of the super soldiers, the Russian super soldiers.
Well, I just gotta say, watching Black Widow literally knock Happy down, it was like 2 seconds. And he was like, no, I'm done, help!
It's so funny because...
It was awesome.
At this point in the MCU, everyone's... I don't want to say comfortable with Natasha, but everyone already knows what Natasha does. They already know that she could kick ass. And so seeing her in this film where she's introduced, all of a sudden kick ass and stuff, it's fun. It's
yeah, because the big thing is her main character portrayal in this is that she's just this little secretary, and she's just helping them out with the company. She's not from secretary.
She's not a secretary. She's from the legal.
Yeah, but she's basically Pot's assistant.
That becomes like a running gag throughout the film, where it's like she's from legal because Tony Stark, you know, I just drew.
He was checking her out.
Yeah, he was understandably. That's the word I was. He was understandably checking her out, and Pepper just goes, "She's from legal," and so he's like, "But I want one." And then she kicks Happy's ass, and they bring up that she's just from legal.
So to see her go from being basically her boobs are hanging out, she's basically just there to catch his attention and help out Potts, and then seeing her throw this guy down, like literally throw this guy down. It was very impressive, and I really liked that.
There's a really funny sequence when it's the sequence that you see in the trailers, if you guys remember the trailer for this movie. It's when they're kind of taking down Justin Hammer and the Hammer Industries, and so her and Happy go inside the building to clear it, and they're obviously confronted by security guards, and Happy takes like 10 minutes to knock out one guard,
Yeah.
and then that time she knocks out like all the other
Everyone
guards that are
else.
there, and he's like, hey, I got him. And he turns around and he
And
just sees
it's
an
just
entire
completely
hallway
empty.
of like passed out guys. It's pretty funny.
And she's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Yep. It was kind of great. Did you have any other comments about the movie?
No.
How would you rate it?
A 4 out of 10. Like I said, I just found it very boring.
That's
And
how
it's-
I would rate it too.
It's one of those ones where I could definitely see if people like it and stuff. It's just not for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those that there are a lot better films that you can put on. You're never going to sit
Especially
down.
MCU films.
Yeah. You're never going to sit down and say, oh, hey, I really want to watch Iron Man 2 right now. But, I mean, if you're watching it for the road to Endgame purposes, yeah, watch it. Check it out. I would also rank it a 4 simply because it really just felt like we were watching Stark do his daily shit. And it's like, I kind of don't care about Stark's daily shit. So, well, what are we doing next?
We're doing Captain America first. We're going to also try to knock out the Avengers today. And I think that's all we'll have time for today. But those two should be coming up soon. Hopefully it won't take too long.
Definitely check them out. If you enjoy our video, like, share, subscribe. Watch our videos. And as we mentioned, this is a mini-series. So if this is your first time seeing us, absolutely go back and watch the others. We would really appreciate it.
Yeah, so like I said, I do know the audio on the other ones is weird at times. The first two aren't too bad. And after that, I don't know what happened to the mic. Because we use the same mic and it just gets a little weird. And I really hope I talked loud enough for this mic. So
We're having a little trial and error
hopefully
right
it'll
now.
come up better. This is our first couple videos. So.
Also, just so you know, our email address is in the description of the YouTube channel. If you
it's
have
in
any
our About section.
questions, feel free to shoot me an email.
Or suggestions. Like, hey, get this mic. It's pretty cheap and it works really well.
Yeah.
I'll take you up on it.
I'm more likely to respond if you shoot us an email. Daniel's more likely to respond if you go in the comments. So just let us know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions.
Other than that,
Enjoy the good, enjoy the bad, and always enjoy the geeky.
see you guys next time.